DJ Despair is in the damn building. The baddest DJ this side of town. Mixing the heat.
Ladies and gentlemen,
DJ Despair.
What up, what up, what up? We have my boy Lito'S, Vato Rich in the building.
What up,
Tell
what
who you are and where you from.
Winnipeg, Manitoba. I'm from a little bit of everywhere. I was born in Mexico. My mom's is from El Salvador. My dad is from Honduras. And I live here in Canada. So that's where I'm from.
And you are a hip-hop reggaeton artist.
Yeah, I'm a hip-hop, reggaeton, and I'm working on like a R&B feel type of shit, too, just keeping it mixed.
And you're just international. I just give it there, man. So do we just leave it there? You're Mr. International now.
Hey, man. Whatever you want to call it, man.
Okay, let's take it back to the beginning. So when you first started off around 2017, 18, started to drop videos.
Yeah.
And from there, like, where did you think your career was going to be? Did you think it was going to end up like this right now?
Not at all. Absolutely not, man. Not even at all. Like, honestly, there were a couple of shows that I was offered before I actually accepted my first show, because I didn't even think I was gonna be doing shows. Like, I was like, man, I'm gonna just make music and just see like who likes it and just play it for friends, and like just kind of like, okay, look, I took it to the studio, but after like the third person coming up to me asking if I would like to come and perform, I was like, man, this is actually like, becoming something already. And so like the first show I actually went to was one of my best shows that I had. And it was actually like so lit, so many people, the vibes, and everybody came and enjoyed my performance. And like, man, it just pushed me that much more to wanted to make it to be where it is now.
But you can't just say your first show, because when you did your first, you didn't just come out and do first shows. You came out and opened for 4 big bangers right off the hop.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's why, it was like, man, it was a blessing. And it was just like, I'm like, really? Like, so I couldn't say no to it. And so it was meant to be, like, and people say that and you hear that, like, even in other interviews, it's actually for real, so like for artists that are in the industry and are trying to do that, man, like, actually just keep going. Actually just believe in yourself and believe that, like, man, it's not gonna be easy, but it's gonna be worth it at least, right?
Well, I remember the first time you hit me up, you're like, watch my video. And I'm like, who is this? Like, every rapper says, watch my video and check my stuff out. Go to my Spotify. And I don't really do that. Like, I just want you to send me the music. But I checked out the video, and then I'm like, all right, this is nice. Like, where you come from? And then it's just like from like, and I've seen you around. You've like done, but you never were like, I never knew you did music. And then from when you first the first song, and then you went from the first song for which was
Vato Rich.
But then when you dropped this song right here, and the video aspect to it and everything just blew my mind, because you came correct with it. And it's like you want to show people like this is who you are. And a lot of people in the game don't understand that you could start with one video, but when you're evolving, we're going to go through the steps of your involvement leading up to your new single now.
Okay.
But I'm going to start off right now with, what was the whole concept behind, Money Mitch?
Honestly, like, I called it Vato Rich and used that concept in the chorus of Money Mitch, to kind of give a people of an idea of like, you know, we can find that hustler's ambition, like Money Mitch, and put it towards that music and try to, you know what I mean, hustle that music to get heard and become heard and become a name, become a brand, become a person that, you know, in your city, you could be known, you could be a legend, you know, that's something people can't grasp sometimes. And as an artist, it's something that I think I've already kind of established, maybe not legend, but definitely established and known. And that's good enough for me, you know, and that's good enough for me for people to at least know the name, you know?
Well, let's get into it for a brief moment. Let some people hear how you started.
Yeah.
A nigga like me, man, I love the game. I love the hustle, man. Be feeling like one of them ball playing niggas, you know, like Bird, Magic or something. You know, a nigga got dope. A nigga could leave the league. But if I leave, the fans still gon' love me, man.
Young Vato Bridge, you can call me Money Mitch. New whips, new kicks, new flicks, yeah. In the laundromat, I was in the laundromat. Too much money now, now I gotta launder that. Young Vato Bridge, you can call me Money Mitch. New whips, new kicks, new flicks, yeah. In the laundromat, I was in the laundromat. Too much money now, I just gotta launder that. I was in the trap, I was used to taking orders. Now I'm taking in orders, you can place an order. Now I'm taking over, what you think about it? Got it. I ain't stopping, now I'm heading to the topics, yeah. I'm the boss, let them see what I be feeling, yeah. Gotta make a killing, yeah, suffer dealing, yeah. I was in the trap, let them know where we be at. East side, yeah, let them know they feeling that.
So, from that song there, leading into Montana, what were you thinking when you started Montana, man? Because like I know you heard the beat kicked in, and then like how did the vibe just flow? Like how long did it take you to actually put that together?
I think it took me about like 2-3 hours to put it all together. And then once that song was done, it was just something that I knew like this is gonna catch on, like people are gonna like this one, like because I'd go to bed and I would fucking just hear that, you know, I'm fucking with Rihanna, and like it's just I don't know, like it's just I wanted to show people that like, hey man, I can do something different. I want to be diverse. I want to show people that hey, I don't have just one style. Like when you hear my music, it's not gonna be every single song sounds the same. I wanted to make sure that it was almost like Kendrick, where in some style you didn't even know it was him, and it was like that was him. Like I wanted that to be like in the kind of music that I'd make, that like that was him again, like that was him again. So like that's what I wanted to do and show people the diversity.
And for new up and coming artists, you didn't wait, like you didn't spend no time going, look, I'm here, you gotta like me. If you don't like me, look at my videos, look at me, like just watch what I'm doing. Like you hit the stage with, you open up for Murder Beats, you open up for DeMarco, you opened up for Pimpton, like, and then now you guys got a relationship. Like I'm happy to actually making that happen, because now I'm watching the two of you support each other. And that's what I always wanted in music, where people recognize game. You came out of nowhere. Like I can say what in the past 4 years, look where you are now.
Yeah, definitely. You know what I mean?
And you did it right. And a lot of people in the game come in all pig-headed and like, oh, I got music, I'm doing this and da, but they didn't have no direction.
Right.
You know, it's like the first time you went to Toronto, after Montana. Like, yo, you went in there like a boss. Like, I'm getting phone calls from Toronto. If you were just like, yo, who's this guy? You just showed up here with a bob. Like, he's up on stage wilding out. Little guy with chain. Like, who is he, man? It's just like, we didn't know to hug him or rob him. Like, what was going on? It was just like, you know what I mean?
You know what, man? Like, that's something like that people like will notice, because like when we roll out, man, and when you ask like about Vato Rich, there's something also like Vato Rich is the support, you know. Vato Rich is the people that are there and have been there, and you know the.
Well,
like,
you told me
literally
Vato
have
Rich is
made
your
this
lifestyle.
possible.
You told me
Exactly.
Vato Rich is a lifestyle.
Exactly.
When you first told me that, I was down. I said, I'm in. Like right there, you sold me.
Yeah. It literally is, man. You know, it's a lifestyle that we've been living in, and now it's like, yeah, man, we're trying to just take it and make it something for people all over the world, that any race could be Vato Rich, you know, and that's what's like important to me, you know.
Well, right now, I want to get into this next video. This is where it all started. I just got to say.
Mm-hmm.
And 1 second. Let me get this here.
Lito'S. Vato Rich. Tough. I'm fucking with Rihanna. Nicki not gon' like it. I'm calling Lady Gaga. Asking her why they hate me. They say I'm bad like Montana. They say I'm bad like Montana. I'm bad like Montana. They say I'm bad like Montana. I'm out here pulling strings, Carlos Santana. I'm riding around town with some dandadas. If you ain't got the dollars, homie, don't bother. Vato Rich up in this bitch, come call us. You can come up in your town, so just holler. Best believe we chopping with the choppers. Got the cowboys and the hood chops. Better bring it back and pay them for. Every day we trapping cause the product good. All up in a Rari, all up in a hood. You know, yeah, I got it good. Yeah, I got it good.
So the whole concept of this video, like who directed the video, like where do we go with this?
Yeah, no, you know, shout out to my homie Nino, man. Nino Louis from Toronto. Like, homeboy actually grew up here from Winnipeg, actually, and then he moved out over there, and that's where he like pushed his career and started his career, and then like, you know, it's always been fans with us, and so like, he's the one who actually helped me from the beginning and helped me with Vato Rich, and like, and then Baddest Guys and Lately and Montana. So like, he's been a strong support behind like the music and kind of helping like to have at least the Six Side, you know, exposure from him being a videographer out there and a well-known one, right?
Isn't it funny that two guys from the Six are from Winnipeg that are helping you push in Toronto? It's funny,
you know, but that's what people need to recognize, is that sometimes you got to step outside of your comfort zone, your city, your you know, the people that you know, like, you know what I mean? Like, outside of music, we never knew each other, you know, but music brings people together, and what you need to kind of, as an artist, need to know is to differentiate who can help you and who's just in for maybe the money, or who's in for just the wrong reasons, you know. We've all seen it through movies and stuff. and big name artists who have made those mistakes, right? So as an artist, it's like you just gotta be able to see through the bullshit and see who would help, you know. And
whereas you as an artist, you didn't come in renting your jewelry. You didn't come in borrowing stuff. You came in with your own stuff. Like even having the Dylans backing you with vehicles, that's an advertisement move. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
That's what you've been doing. And like I'm glad that we've got to work together, because when I saw you, I just saw you as a perfect marketing situation.
Right.
Because leading into that, like you came up with the song Wavy. And like you said, every one of your songs follows through differently, may have the same kind of meanings, may have kind of same kind of concepts, but never sounds the same.
Right.
Vato. I'm riding out this wave, I got him wavy. My bitch is mad, I got these bitches waving. Too much sassy side, the bitch is just a basic. I'm pulling up in Lamborghinis, talking bandos. I know shoppers in this alley getting faded. If they riders, they behind us, that's my word. That's my word. Yeah, I know that's my word. I was scattering this money, hiding work up in the dirt. It's exclusive how we do this, got the six up in the mix. I'm inspired from these rappers, yeah, I know about the click. I'm a rap. Got these stunners in my set, these runners on the move. Why you looking so confused? All these vatos I can fool, always strapped up with the tool. Better watch out for the set, I'm a menace when I rap. All these vatos on the scene, now it's looking so obscene. When they talking about my team, on my team. I been shining on my shit, let them know that I'ma make it, I'ma take over the shit.
And you see, that's one thing I like about you with your music. Like you can repeat it, you remember it, you got like you have a flow, you have a concept around it, and you're not overdoing, you're not trying to be like anybody else.
You know what? That was something that as I'm an older artist, so I got to like I listened to the hip hop that it was in to be different, not to be the same, you know? So like I brought that with me and kept that with me always as a music concept, because I just never felt good enough to come here and be like, I'm going to do the same thing as this or the same thing as this guy, or you know what I mean? Like I felt better like, yo, I'm going to bring me and people are going to be like, yo, who's this guy? You know what I mean? Who's that?
Trust me, that's how it happened, because like Montana came out. I didn't even have the video out yet. I wasn't even playing the song. We just had a clip. And I'm getting phone calls from all over. When is this dropping? What is this? Like, what are you guys doing here right now? Like, what did he do? And then I get to Toronto and just like, okay, what's going on with that Montana clip? I'm just like, the track is dropping soon. We dropped the track, dropped the video. Then you went to Toronto. Place got lit up. Every rapper's blowing up your phone, calling you from top 5 to everybody. I remember sitting in the car having conversations with rappers like, hey, you need to work with me. And we're like, no, you need to work with us. Like, we ain't paying you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I ended up doing the song in top 5. I ended up doing the song, couple artists, you know, that were out there, you know, while I was out there. And so it's like, you know,
that was one part of it. But one of the songs that I'm glad that you did was with a legend, and that's Blood Relations.
Well, Don Dinero, you know, Don Dinero is like, you know, shout out to Homeboy, you know, for hopping on and like, you know, always showing love, man. Always, and anytime, you know, is someone, you know, support, it's like, yo, right away, tag it and we're on it. And it's like, mad respect for the Homeboy.
See, growing up with them and working with them over the years, I've got to watch the Khaled movement come out of it, and the Terror Squad and all the different things, and watching the whole Cuban Link and everybody growing. And I've always enjoyed reggaeton and you know, like everything from the Latino culture with hip hop, because it was a whole different side of its own. And then when you had the reggaeton side come about it, you have the hardcore reggaeton artists like Daddy Yankee and like, you know, and Pitbull came in there and a bunch of people came in there and did their thing. But then you took it and just did it completely different. Like no way that anybody else has done it, because when those guys transitioned over, they weren't singing. they weren't doing the things. They had to get other people who sing to get on stuff, and you're diverse enough to do both. But before we get into that, I want to give them a little sample of Blood Relations, because for you to hold your own with a legend, that was a present to me, because when you sent me the beat, I sent it to him, and then he's like, I'm on this. And I was just like, all right, let's see how this goes. And like, this is what fire we came out of it.
Shout out Don Dinero, Lito'S,
About to
that Blood Relation, that Cuban Connection.
DJ Despair exclusive.
Vato rich.
Anything we say is coded off by blood relations. You be talking on like you be sitting in the station. It was all of you when I was living in the basement. Now I'm back to rich, I got my whole team out replacing. The way I'm dodging haters, you would think I'm in the matrix. All the moves I'm making, got a Vato paper chaser. Made it out the hood, but never left, I'm renovating. Had to buy the block, cause all these other niggas hating. I just came and met up with the new Cuban Connect. I'm in New York City, 204 is what I rap. Blood relations brought it all together for the set. Got to get the money for the power and respect. Boxed up business, that was on my neck. Iced out chain gang, pull up with the flex. About to break the business, yeah, I put that on my set. I don't call collect, I'm probably calling to collect. I do this for my city, yeah, I made a fucking way. Had to keep it raw, I'm the product on the way. Trapping like a hood star, everything I made. Ahora ya lo saben que nosotros somos reyes. Anything we say is coded off by blood relations. You be talking out like you be sitting in the station. It was all of you when I was living in the basement. Now I'm back to rich, I got my whole team out in place. The way I'm dodging haters, you would think I'm in the matrix. All the moves I'm making, got a Vato paper chaser. Made it out the hood, but never left, I'm renovating. Had to buy the block, cause all these other niggas hate.
Oh yeah, they just some haters, they some maricón. Don Dinero llegó el mapigón. Show me the money, I'm about my moolah. Find me in Miami, 90 miles from Cuba. Wow. I'm well connected, I can plug you in. Perico y heroína, either sink or swim. Oh yeah, if you owe me, better pay me pana. Cause I can send 100 spics straight to your casa. Wow.
Like I said, like putting you together was like one of the best things that I ever did in my side of the Cuban Connect and the whole movement of that hip hop, because now you look at you guys right now, Don Dinero's everywhere.
Oh yeah,
going up everywhere. Like everybody that I actually had, like felt that I had faith in, that I knew that was going to go somewhere, and putting you guys in the same circle was a smart move from on my part, because I saw something in you that I saw in them, and you took that leap and you actually went with it. Like a lot of rappers I put in that type of position and they've gone nowhere with it.
Right.
You asked me for like an inch and you took it. Like you just ran with the line. You're just like, fuck this, I'm doing everything. It's like, so leading into, after all of that, you get into your reggaeton side. Right. You go to Europe. How was that?
You know, honestly, man, that's an experience that I wish on every artist, because it's something that honestly you're gonna see things that, like, honestly, depending on where you go, but like me going to Europe and going to see that side of the world, I was able to see the difference that people only see in movies and hear about in movies, and try to, like, you know, show you what it's about, but it's so much more different when you see it for yourself, right? So the experience of being able to go to all these countries, I went to 14 different countries in Europe and performed in each one of them, and at every single one of them, it was like just such a good show, such good vibes. The people there were such good people, and like, you know, like it was such a hip hop environment there that like everybody there really made you feel like you were an upcoming artist, you know. And and it makes you feel motivated. You know, Europe really, like, man, like, is an experience that like I said, I wish on every artist, man.
And since that experience, we got a few other songs that I got to play here, but this one right here ended up in a commercial. Like, how did that happen?
Okay, so while I was on tour, right, I was like 3/4 into the tour. I was in Paris, and I was performing in Paris, man. It was a nice, big show, and good vibes. Everybody came, and when I performed, like, it was lit, right? And so at the end of my show, I had this lady approach me, and shout out to Ileana, and she approached me, and she came and asked me, like, you know, who I am and what I was about, and then I ended up mentioning to her, like, you know, I'm Lito'S, and that I'm here all the way from Canada, and that I'm actually Latino, and that I do also reggaeton music. And when I told her that, she was like, you know what? I have a company that has been looking for a reggaeton artist for quite some time now, like probably close to a year, 6 months, I don't know, but they were looking for a Latino artist that had made reggaeton. And so when I had showed her the music, she was like, definitely, she's like, these people will take care of you. They'll pay you to make this music. And I mean, they pay in pounds. So, like, you know, now I'm in, like, you know, I'm getting paid in pounds. And so it's nice that I got to meet this company called Artlist, who I actually ended up getting a distribution deal with. And they're the ones that are my promotion team now. And shout out to them, to artlist.io. You want to go check out their website. They're the ones that are the push for me, the promotion. They're the ones that do commercials, ads, you name it. Like, for that kind of an industry, that's what they push, right? And they work with big names, and so they, at the end of the tour, when I got to Israel, I had that anticipation of waiting till from the third, like 3/4 into the end, because that was where we finished off, right, was in Israel, of waiting to meet these people, right? And like wondering what they were going to say and what was going to happen. And so I actually went and made Coqueta in Israel and met like producers there and met the team there. And so went and I made the song there, and then they finished it while I was on tour there, like a couple days after, and then they sent it to me, and then that song is called Coqueta, and that song right now is actually my most popular song, and it's actually like at over 100,000 views, and thanks to them right now, man, they've really helped push that Lito'S Vato rich brand and make a name for my reggaeton and music.
See how you attack both sides on a proper scale, because you got a good legacy in hip hop, and now you have a movement in reggaeton, and you're in Winnipeg, like you're in Canada, like he's just like, I got to get into this song so they can know what we're going with here.
Get it.
Because I can't stop watching this on TikTok, the commercial, like, man, it's everywhere. Like,
it's everywhere.
I'm proud of you on this.
Dime lo que tú quieres de mi coqueta. Es lo que te gusta es salir y se suelta. Cuando baila reggaetón pa' mí que muñeca. Me gusta subir y seducir. Me gusta seducir. Dime lo que lo que te gusta es salir y te suelta. Cuando baila reggaetón pa' mí, que muñeca. Me gusta salir y seducir. Que dale chiquitita también más. Qué bonita tú te quieres controlar. Ella dice que me quiere controlar. Nosotros los vamos a develar más. Dime, ¿cómo tú te quieres venir más? Dime, ¿cómo los vamos a conocer más? Dime, no te quiero solo ver, quiero compartirte. Quiero que te vean y te sigan. Soy un bandolero, gusto ver una coqueta. Dime cómo suena la pobreza. Sé que tú supiste que tú fuiste la coqueta. Tú siempre fuiste la coqueta.
Yeah.
Like, this is in a movie. Like, how do you feel about that?
Honestly, I'm pretty proud to see that. Like, I'm pretty, like, yeah, like so happy to see something like that. Like, to be honest, I didn't even know, because with the distribution deal and everything that's happening, like, they work with so many artists that, like, they can't tell me about everything that's happening and everything, because there's so much happening. So, like, you know, like, we're waiting on, like, contracts and things with people that, like, you know, we're hoping can help push those movies to bigger platforms, like hopefully Netflix and Prime, where we can tackle people with the subscribers already, right? As opposed to where right now you can go and watch that movie, but you got to pay for it, right? It's not much, it's like $4 or $5.
Oh, it will end up there.
Sorry?
It'll end up in Prime and stuff soon. Trust me. Like,
absolutely, and that's what it is, right? And that's what I can't really say much on, but it's like,
yeah,
it's exciting to see like the whole movement actually become something, and to have seen it on that movie. And if you've seen the scenes and if you've seen like the parts, like, it's like, man, like, it's really like, it's inspiring to see what it could become, you know, what this music could do for someone. And it's like, yeah, man, mind-blowing for me, man.
Well, you see, when you came into this and I said the first words to you, are you serious? Like, you said yes. And I said, I ain't fucking with nobody who's not serious. Like, because once you get into this is a roller coaster. And you did the right moves. You opened for the right people. You didn't do every show like most rappers do. You opened for the right shows. Right. Those shows drew more attention to your videos. Then it drew attention to your music. And yes, last year, you were just starting to peak with your music on Spotify and stuff. Now, you can't even go on your page without seeing your numbers going higher and higher and higher every day. But it was, like I say in life, and it's that one song that can bring light to every other song. And every other things that you're doing. And you did it right. And as a smart artist to put his money where his mouth is, I salute you on that one, because a lot of rappers don't do that. You know what I mean? And then they get into this game thinking everybody needs to give them a handout or do this, Like, you didn't even, most guys have to pay to get on shows like you did. Like, you were begged to get on shows.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the difference. Like, I remember that day you said to me, he goes, dude, I used to be the one popping bottles and buying the bottles. Now I walk in the bar and they're handing me bottles. Like, that's that's the best when you know you're doing something right.
You know, it's real, you know, like, even like speaking things into existence is something like that people should start doing or could do. You know, like, I spoke about in one of my songs about going on world tour. Like, on my first album, I talked about going on world tour and this and that, and I hadn't even
done a show yet.
Oh yeah. But here we are now. It's like, all right, we're going on our second one next year, you know. So it's like, it's nice. It's nice to see the progression and it become more real.
See, I appreciate you as an artist, because when we talked, you're like, can you help me learn this? We'll work together, but I want to be my own person. And I appreciate you on that, because a lot of people expect people when they get them to their brain, like just to carry them the rest of the way and like be babysit them and all that stuff. And you became your own man, your own business, your own company. Like, I'm glad to even work with Vato Rich. Like, you know, and then when we had that talk, it was just like, I'm my own identity, you're your own identity, but we're working together. And now there's a brotherhood of that, because a lot of people wouldn't go out of their way to pull out, even working with legends and going, hey, work with this guy if I didn't believe in you, you know, or even put you on shows in certain cities if I didn't believe in you. Because those little shows, as like people say, little shows got you to bigger things. So when the people sitting there, like, and like all the, like, you look at all the guys that were in your league at that time that were actually rocking stages with you and everything, they can't even touch what you're doing right now, because they're going to be the ones opening for you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And one thing I love about it,
but you know what? Even if it did become that, at least I'd be able to reach out, you know, at least, or if it is that, at least when it's there, or if it comes that, then it's like, then I can support back, you know, because show that, like, yo, I don't forget either, you know, like, because we all been there, we all been here, I mean, we all still here right now, but, you know, if it does become that, it's like, man, it's like, if I can see what they're doing, I can hear the music, I can see what it is. And if I can help somebody, then now I could put that position on people and be able to be like, yo, man, I remember you, you know, you did your thing. I see your progression too, you know, because, hey, man, there's going to be other artists that are going to try to do the same thing the same way I did, and try to just, you know, stand out. And with these people, the artists that were there with me, were good artists. And so, like, you know, if it did become that, it'd be like, yo, let's do this, you know, like, and look, Drake's done it, lots of people have done it, and I ain't afraid to put people on positions, whereas other people figure like, yo, it's competition, like, fuck, make it on your own, you know. See, I don't believe in that.
See, that's why I like that guys like you respect the OGs, because a lot of us are doing it and we're doing it differently. Like, we could go and do a show now and ask for $1,000 and ain't nobody gonna say no. You see, most artists can't even walk in a room and do that now, because it doesn't even matter about your numbers. What is your sales? What are you doing? How many shows have you done? What have you done with your career where I could look at you and say, hey, a label is going to look at you. You have the image. You did the song. You had the presence. And these shows that we did, as small as they were, and some of the big ones that you did, they were practice for you to do bigger things. Once you hit that tour, every day was a level up for you after that, because then you were doing it every day now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're learning your momentum, you're learning your stamina, but you got to think about it. Look, a lot of people didn't know what you did to change your lifestyle, your eating habits, your health, like your look, to go do that.
Yeah, exactly. Because in this industry, especially as an artist, image is a big thing. You know what I mean? So if you're gonna fake it till you make it, I mean, do you think, you know what I mean? But I don't believe in that. I didn't grow up in that era. You know, we grew up in keeping it real. Keeping it real is what's gonna make it. And so that's just how I kept it real, bro. And just I feel like that's what's helped just take it as far as it could, and as far as it's gone, and to be able to try to do, you know, tackling two genres, hip hop and English, and then going into Spanish and tackling, you know, reggaeton, and I'm doing like that, like you said, you know, the singing and the trap styles of reggaeton. So it's like, yeah, you know, really want to show that diversity, you know.
Well, man, I know this is going to lead you into movies and stuff. You're still young, so I see a huge future for you for what you're doing, especially being like a lot of the artists right now, especially rappers. Like, you could do your own movies, you could do your own things. On with anything that we got going on, we could tell the story of Vato Rich. You know, like, these are the different things that people don't seem to understand when you're in a zone like you are right now.
Yeah.
Even though you do other things to maintain your career and maintain your lifestyle, your career is a bonus. The money that's coming in that is invested to do bigger things. Now we can do bigger tours, bigger stuff. Like, you've learned the game now, and you're learning it more and more every day. And I
Right.
appreciate you for taking the time to actually learn the game and get in with the right people instead of coming in and thinking you're like everybody or you're better than everybody. You know,
Yeah.
because I've seen certain times you come to me and said, "Hey, should I rap with this dude?" I'm like, at this time, I don't think it's the right time. And then you're like, "Whew, we dodged a bullet on that one." You know what I mean? And then there's certain things in life is like, "Oh man, we should do something with this guy." Like, but you see, now people are looking at you more that you're going to be able to approach these people, and they're not going to turn you down because of your persona, what you got going on. Because man, like I even caught my own kid playing that song one day, and I'm just like, and I walked past them, like, you know what I mean? Just like, it's just like they're like, what's so funny? I go, oh, you remember that guy came by the house? They're like, what? No, dad, no. And I'm just like, hey, and I just kept walking laughing because it's like a lot of people didn't understand that they don't see it, right? They just like they hear everything and all this stuff, and then it's just like, okay, what is that? And then one day, I was sitting there and just chilling. I get a message from Pimpton. He's like, yo, Lito'S in a commercial? Like, what is this? And then I'm like, yo, man, he did a movie too? And he's just like, what the? It was just like, but I like how people caught it themselves because I didn't force it on nobody, even though we were promoting it on the pages and had it all over the network. It didn't really click in people's heads that it was you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I like that it just grew as its own.
Right. And that's the best part, like just to see that growth, is to see that progression of where it started to where it is now, because that was the goal, is to show people that, like, okay, the seriousness I wanted to bring behind this, of when I said, I want to bring this and I want to call it Vato Rich, you know. So like that's a big statement when you say those kind of words. And so, like, I wanted to make sure that, like, yo, when I bring this and try to make a brand of this and make a business out of this, I want people to know that, like, Homeboy's serious. Homeboy's actually making the moves and actually doing the moves artist needs to make, right? So that to where it is now is really an accomplishment that I take pride on, and wish on every artist to definitely take an experience on.
And like, being at the age that you are right now, you're still young and you still have a lot of shit to do. So it's like, I'm very happy to be a part of that voyage and like to watch you do this, because like you're a blessing in disguise. Because honestly, to this song right here, when you brought this to me and said, okay, this is the direction I'm going with, I took this to Toronto and I played this on a party bus and it went bananas.
Yo no sé qué a ti te han dicho, pero dame este permiso de comprarte un traguito para invitarte a mí.
And the messed up part is we haven't even hit the clubs yet because all of this came out during COVID.
Pero dame este permiso de comprarte un traguito para invitarte a mi vicio. Y yo deseándote y yo peleándote. Yo conozco la salida. Tú para mí eres mi vida, mi vida, mi vida, mi vida, mi vida.
See, this is what I like about what he says. Like, I was listening to a reggae, kind of crossover between reggaeton and salsa artists, and he came up with the same kind of vibe that you were starting, like you did here, and he remixed a legendary group, and it was when I'm sitting there listening to it, and I'm sitting there like the guy's like, yo, the movement and everything. I'm like, yeah, we have a Latino movement out here, like a huge one. And then he's just like, what do you mean, in Canada? And I'm just like, yo, I go, my guy is like everywhere. Like, you just look up Lito. And then he's just like, it's just like in the mind state is like a lot of people not realizing where a big group of people out here that listen to that music. And there's a lot of artists that are out here but they're not pushing like you are, because most of them are on one lane. Most of them are just on the rap side of it. Most of them sing on the singing side of it, and then most of them are not diverse enough to go all over with it or take that risk. And that's the one thing I like about with you with the concept of your name, Vato Rich. That's a risk-taking movement, because you're trying to do everything before your life is done. Like, you know, you're trying to live life to the fullest. And that's a lot of people don't understand.
Well, you know what? As an OG in the music that I grew up listening to, man, and the hip hop I grew up listening to on reggaeton, that is what it was about. It's like, yo, live your life to the fullest. Live it like it's your last day, you know? Like, make sure you and your families is good. And that's why I make sure my family's is good and me. And I try to live it to the fullest as best as I can. And I feel like that's how it should be for everybody, you know. Like it was never intended to always be about money. I feel like it was intended to be about family. I feel like and that family love and I don't know. That's just me though, right? But
respect, because like even growing like over the years of knowing you and talking to you and like now I know you've been working like crazy and I've been doing shit like crazy. During the times that we were just getting to this point where we are busy, we talked a lot about things. You came and hung out, we smoked, and we like, you know, we dab and talk about stuff and everything. And then we're like, okay, image, we got to lose weight. All of us sat in the room and said, okay, everybody's got to lose the weight. And I'm just like, shit. and then I watched you guys do it. I'm like, damn, now I got to get up and do it. Like they're actually doing it. And then, you know, it's just like, and then when I started to get into it, I was just like, okay, like I understand now. Then the changing of the eating tabs, then our conversations changed. Then it got grown man stuff. You're like, man, I'm gonna go get my own crib. I need to do this whole thing. I'm gonna go on tour. Fuck, like I'm gonna do this. And then it's like, okay, I'm gonna go to school. Okay, I'm gonna like you are what I call a real smart businessman now with what you're doing with your music, because I've never once heard you complain when it came to putting your money where it needed to go.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the more the spend, the more you're getting back now. And you know, now you said it, you're getting paid in pounds. Not any rapper around me can say that. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's only one other rapper that can say he gets paid in crypto. But you know what I'm saying? But like when I hear those conversations, that makes my life happy because I know we're going somewhere. You know, and I just can't wait to see where you go from here. And I can't wait till we open up so we can hit the roading, because I literally want to see how the crowd reacts now. Because now you don't just have one type of crowd to go to, man. You got everything. And like, even with that song, you slap a reggae on the artist on the next thing you're doing, you're going to another link. So it's just like I'm saying, you're a man of many lanes. I'm glad to have done this interview with you, and I'm very proud of you, of your journey and being a part of it and being able to watch you. And I can't wait to see what the future gives you, because you deserve it. And I'm giving you roses now, because out of any artist that I've actually had a chance to actually properly talk to and you know, work with, you have impressed me more and more every day, and the people around me. And I salute you 100% on that.
Thank you, man. And I appreciate everything you've done. I appreciate everything you've ever said, advice, you know, like the help you've put in, you know what I mean? Like the startup, you know, everything that, you know, like everything and everyone that has made this possible, I would never forget. And I will never forget. Because for me, man, that's what made it possible. And for me to go and forget that, it's like I might as well forget this whole thing. I might as well forget this whole career. Because without that and you guys and the people around me that have made this possible, I would be nobody. And so I also thank you guys and you and all the support and anybody and everybody watching this, you know, like, it's a blessing, and I'm just happy to be heard. It was never to become famous or become rich. It was always and first to be heard and becomes, you know, a known name for the music
And
specific.
you did it very humble because you just like, yo, here's a track. I'll go to work. All right, here's a track. I'm going to the gym. And just like it's like you know, just like every day was just like, okay, we'll see where this goes. All right, we'll see where this takes. And then you're like, yo, I recorded this track in Israel. I think it's on. I'm like, okay. And then you played it for me. I'm like, it's on. And then all of a sudden you're like, on a commercial. I'm like, shit. Then you're like, okay, it's potentially going to be in this movie, but we got to keep this quiet. I'm like, all right, you know how long it was hard to keep that quiet? Because like they got to a point where I completely forgot about it. Like it was just like, and then when you posted, I'm like, oh shit. Oh yeah, I remember this. Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, but people don't understand the process and the length of things, and you know, especially the behind the scenes part of it. Because when you're doing music for like our world, stuff that we're doing that's blowing up now, we did like how many years ago, or last year, or the year before, and it was just in process of getting everything published, put in the right spots, and da 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 da. But now it's like there's so much that's coming out, especially in both cultures, where I know your music is going to touch a lot of things differently, because hip hop, the Latino side of hip hop, the whole concept of like reggaeton, the salsa movements and all that, the step dancing, like I miss that. And you grew up in that essence of that, where that was a heavy thing at the bars out here, the scene, the clubs, like, you know, there's salsa nights, there's like reggaeton, like, there you got to watch the bands, and like, you know, in the festivals and stuff. And like literally you were supposed to be on a few festivals and a couple of parades, like leading in to what happened with COVID. So now things change drastically for you. Now things are going to be open up, because now that people got a chance to sit back and take in Vato Rich, now it's just like, okay, where are we going to go next with this? And TV networks now and the different things you're going to be doing on the other side, like I'm just happy to watch this go down, because we deserve this. Like you, the team, everybody, the work I saw you guys put in, everything, for you to even believe in me, for me to believe in you, I appreciate that, because that's a big thing in life. And a lot of people don't know how to be humble and say, hey, let me step down and make you something. You know what I mean? Because I've been there. I've done this stuff. I haven't got a chance to tour. I was supposed to tour with you during that time. Some shit happened, but I'm not like, in the way I've done things with music and radio and all the stuff, I never thought I was going to have an app. I never thought I was going to be on radio like this. I never thought I was going to be able to put us on a network to be that big, like where we're playing everywhere, where things are going to do shows in Toronto and all that stuff, and have a name like that. You know, a lot of people got to pay for that. A lot of people got to put in years and like a lot of things to even get to where you are right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I've made posts about that. Like, there's a lot of people have to put in way over 100 to 200K to get the type of traction you're getting right now.
Right.
But your lane is a whole different lane, and then wait till the other side of the world catches on. Because like, I just see more and more and more potential for what you choose to do with your music, because it's you.
Right.
And no one can take that.
Oh, that is what we spent already, you know, and it's just the start still, you know. And then now it's like, man, you got to keep going, you know. It's like, that's why they say, man, like, you want to be an artist, man, you got to really, like, grind, work hard, man, or I don't know, man, do your thing or whatever, man. But, like, you know what I mean? You got to pay. You got to pay into your own investment, and that's yourself, and just believe that eventually you'll see it back. You know, like if you're gonna come at it with a hustler mentality, you know, is put into it the product, and then, you know, sell it on all platforms and get that money back, right? So it's like,
oh man, look at you, your jewelry game is always
it, you know, we used towards it. For me, it was not that. It was always mainly for me, for all the platforms.
Right.
It was always mainly to be heard. You know?
But come on, you got to say one thing though. Your jewelry game was on point, because every single time you popped up somewhere and somebody's like, "Who's that?" And then there's that's the man's right there. Okay, where's his music? What are we doing here? What is it? See, you have the look. You came out hard, and especially like you're not a big dude. You know, you're surrounded by big dudes, and then you just come out of nowhere, just like, "What's up?" And then just like, "Who's he?" It's just like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, I was watching your Instagram. I'm seeing the wrist swing, and then certain things, and the developments and over things. Like even the background picture here right now, like, you know, that's you. You can't take it away from you, and you can't say that you're faking it because it's real. Because you know, you can't say that you're trying to be somebody because that's just you. Like this is how you started. This is how you came in. Like it's not no props. It's not no gimmicks. It's what you get. You know what I mean? Like,
right, bro. That's how I pull up, bro. You know what I mean? I'll come to your house and them girls come in the house and jewelry. It's just, I don't know. It is something important about this industry is keeping that image real, bro. If you don't got it, bro, don't front it.
right.
I don't. But if you can, but do your thing, you know. Like I don't know, whatever works. If you can find your way to make it work, make it work. But I find keeping it real is the best way, and I was blessed to be able to get it, bro. And you know, I'm gonna just bring it to my shows. You know, that's why I got it so that I can bring it to the shows and make it look good. You know, make it look right.
Well, that's what I mean. Because like when I look at certain rappers, it's like, okay, if we go somewhere, how am I going to present you? I know how I roll. So how are you going to come in the room? Because anybody could do anything in Winnipeg, in like small towns like Winnipeg and all that stuff. No one really cares how you go on stage. But when you hit in the tri-state areas like Toronto, Montreal, like when you're hitting a road thing and you're hitting it with a bunch of other Americans coming in with more jewelry on their chest than you, like it's stuff like that. And it's just like, but they still look at you and go, damn, that shit's fly, because you're not like everybody else. Your stuff is completely like, you can walk in a room and about 13 to 40 artists with choke chains, all different types of things, right? And then you got like most guys don't like the old school long chains, the whole thing, like the look. And it's not even about how many chains or certain things you're wearing. It's that one chain could stand out from everything else that's going on. You know, that one watch could always make that one look at like the ring. Like I've watched your videos. Everything has changed over time. You've grown over time with the look. I want to, like, it's like every time I look at the thing and I show somebody something like, oh, I want to invest in him. Show them a different type of video. They're like, they look the same in every video. You know, everything is just like thing. You could tell the weight loss, the gradual change of the hair, the look, like everything that goes down is like, it's like you say, when you look at my social media and stuff, you could always see improvements, what's going on and what's changing and how I'm gradually growing. When you show a video of yourself, you could see the stuff. That's why I saved this last one for last, because like this one here, T. Olives, explain that one to me.
Okay, te olvidé.
Te olvidé. Oh yeah, sorry, I got it.
Yeah. I was like more talking about a girl. Like there's a concept talking about like a girl that I got over, but I never forgot about. But like I'm like showing kind of like, look, like I surpassed what you thought I couldn't surpass, and like became someone big or became a name, and it's like kind of along that way, you know, and like and I forgot about you, and that's what the olvidé means, is that I forgot about you.
All right.
Lito'S, Vato Bridge. Yo te superé, pero nunca te olvidé. Yo nunca te olvidé. Pasan las horas yo pensando en ti, ella pensando en ti. Una nena pa' mí va a tener que ver, a tener que ver. Soy un bandolero, yo no sé qué hacer. Ella no sé qué hacer. Ella para mí es mi chiquita. Ya. Ella me la pone por encima, ma. me lo ponen más. Entonces yo ya sé lo que te gusta, que te busquen o que te revisan. Ah, pues yo no paro porque sé lo que tú quieres. Entonces ya pues dime cómo lo prefieres. Nena, yo sé lo que tú quieres saber. Mejor mami, móntate para que te monten. Te hablo en el oído para que tú me lo digas. De que tú me quieres, sin saber vida. Yo te superé, pero nunca te olvidé. Yo nunca te olvidé. Pasan las horas yo pensando en ti. Ella pensando en ti.
That's what I'm saying, man. Can you tell people where to find your music and yourself on social media?
Yeah, you can go and follow me at Vato Rich 204 on Instagram. You can find my music on any platform that you can download music on, Spotify, any iTunes, and I hope you guys enjoy my music. And on the jewelry part, man, it's not even all about the jewelry. To the artists that ain't rocking no jewelry, that ain't rocking or rocking small chains or whatever, man. Like honestly, I had experience with that on tour, man. I ain't bring no jewelry to tour. Some artists did, some artists didn't. Some artists talked about the artists that they have at home and everything. But you know what? I have brought nothing. But for some reason, I stood out the most, I would say, in the aspect of I didn't need the jewelry because the music spoke for me. So, you know, it's not always about necessarily the jewelry. Sometimes your music could do the talking for you too, you know. So make sure the music point too, because that could back you so that you can get that jewelry after.
See, that's why I wanted to end with this video, because all the other videos is like bling, 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 bling. But this one, you just kept it simple and plain and grown, man. See, that's where I wanted to show people when you're growing in the industry. And I knew that when you said you went on tour, you didn't wear it because I wouldn't either. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when you hit the road and all that stuff, first time and everything, you're not rolling with your squad. I ain't wearing no, like I tuck my chains enough times. Like when I go to Toronto, half the times I don't even wear a chain when I go do shows because I wear a wooden pendant or something else, because it's just, there's people out there that watch that will hug you up, grab on you and all this stuff at shows and rip your shit off. Like just for the sake of doing it. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm glad you said that, because I just wanted you to say it, because I wanted to see where you're going to come from with this. Because I hit a lot of people with these questions sometimes. You know, guys are like, oh, my bling game is this, and my this is this, and da-da-da-da-da. And I get it. You know what I mean? They talk about how much the chain costs on the shows and how much this and this and that. You know, I like guys who keep it humble and like, yeah, I got it, but I ain't going to tell you how much it is. And I ain't going to show you how much it is. And half the times you ain't going to see it. So just, I appreciate you saying that, because a lot of rappers got to hide behind that because their music ain't up to par. And you don't got to do that. Everything goes together. You know what I mean? And you don't put fly cars and stuff in your video if you don't drive them. You don't do things and stuff like, you know what I mean? Like you don't overstep who you are. And that's why I like the fact that you are who you are. And on that note, salute.